Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1240. I'm exhausted. See somebody, Philly Joe. Unfortunately, Ernie's not going to debut this morning. Ernie is a little bundle of energy, let me tell you. So, an exhausting Monday, but Ernie redeemed himself and he was a good boy yesterday afternoon. Not so much this morning. So I think 7:30 is going to kind of be our new time. And I thought I was getting up early enough this morning to get closer to 7 o'clock, but Ernie decided to have a little more energy than the day before. So we got up, he went out, and of course I need to get into this new routine where then I mentioned this yesterday. So all of my clothes are in the closet downstairs, and I use the basement bathroom, and one of the spare bedrooms is where my closet is. So I just get ready downstairs in the morning, and it works because then I pop in here, bada bing, bada boom. However, when I have to go take Ernie to go potty, I can't go on my underwear, so I have to finagle Ernie with me, come downstairs. But I think today I learned my lesson, and tomorrow will be a new day, and I'll remember to bring my sweatpants up. So get my sweatpants. We go take out Ernie to go potty. He pees. Got a lot of rain. I think we got maybe not a lot, but it's wet enough, so I had to dry him off. And now he wants to go back and wake my wife up and go play. It's like, no, it's breakfast time. So I have to go chase him down. And the difference is Ernie will follow my wife. And this is from like the get-go. Ernie was attached to my wife from the get-go. Even though we were together, we met him at the same time, we held him about the same amount of time, played with him the same amount of time. Hell, I held him in the car on the ride home, but he just kept wanting to go to my wife. So he's a mama's boy. So he will follow my wife. If my wife's cleaning, vacuuming, making dinner, doing whatever, Ernie follows her around. If I'm doing that stuff, Ernie's like, this is my opportunity to go cause chaos. Runs off. And I'm like trying to do two things at once: corral the puppy and make him lunch, or make myself lunch, or whatever. So that's what I'm doing this morning, getting breakfast ready for Ernie, and he runs into the bedroom. God damn it. So I go get him, and my wife had gotten up to go to the bathroom or whatever, and she's like, what are you doing in here? Like, he ran off again. So go get him. And he has ADD when he eats. Now, the thing with Biscuit was Biscuit just didn't like to eat. She just didn't have any appetite whatsoever, which is good and bad. Like, you don't want a dog that's just trying to eat every piece of food in sight, but you want a dog that you don't have to spoon feed. So he eats, Ernie eats, but he gets distracted very easy, and he'll eat like a couple bites and then zoom away. He did that like 3 times this morning, and he's not easy to catch for an old fat guy like me. He's not easy to catch. So finally, after like the third getaway, I had to shut the bedroom door, and that confused. He's like, hey, there was supposed to be a room right here. Where'd it go? That's the funny thing about puppies, is like they're like discovering things. Like, he barks at himself in reflections, and I need to take a video of that before he realizes it's just a reflection. So he finally finished, and then we play for 15 minutes, because then he goes, usually number 2, he goes poopy about 15 minutes after he eats breakfast. So trying to play with him, and he's trying to zoom all over the house. And which I'm like, actually, this might work. This will wear him out, and because he's going to go back to bed after he goes poop. So he runs into we've got this like play pen doggy playpen, which came in, which is a lovely addition to our house. Because it allows me to get some work done during the day. So he goes into the playpen and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, trying to get out. And I'm like, here, you can come out, come the same. And then he started to, I'm like, oh, are you trying to poop? So took him out, grabbed him, took him out and sniffed around. He had to find a good place. He pooped. We go back in and wiped him off and tried to play with him for a few more minutes, but he's like zooming back to the bedroom, put him in bed, climbing all over my wife. And I haven't heard my wife. So apparently he's settled in. So we're trying to train him to, eventually sleep in like Biscuit did. Biscuit would sleep in until whenever my wife got up. So here I am, late again. I'll be late for the foreseeable future. Just we're on puppy time. So yeah. So Ernie, I want to get him trained to sleep in. I thought about going live yesterday afternoon. Maybe I'll do that today. Maybe I'll pop on because he stays down here with me when I'm working, and I'll probably this afternoon be doing more work in this office. So I'll have his playpen, and then we can show him off on a live today. So plan accordingly. I think that'll work. So yeah. So busy days with the puppies. So we took him out to potty last night, and so we've lived here for about a year. It's been about a year and 2 weeks. But those first 2 weeks were my wife was gone. This was probably about the time my wife came home. We lived here for about a week, and my wife and her mom went on a cruise for 2 weeks. One of those weeks I was in Chicago at the National. So figure about this time last year is when we were finally getting settled in for good in this house. So we haven't met many of I know I've met the neighbors on that side. We already know the neighbors on that side, good family friends. We just about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, met the neighbors on the other side. I know Rosie and the Chihuahua's dad, human. And then I'd met another neighbor that lives down that way. And that's about it. But we met another neighbor last night, and he came walking down the driveway. I think he was getting his mail. We waved. My wife sends, so she's in real estate, and she sends out postcards like when she sold a whole bunch of houses in this neighborhood. So everybody in this neighborhood, they get a postcard when something sells, or she sends recipe cards. Every month there's a new recipe. And she also sends out this time of year, Green Bay Packers schedules. I have one of my dealers, Sheena, his wife is in real estate and actually works for the same company, different office, same company as my wife. And she has Cubs magnet schedules. My wife doesn't have that. So I put Angela's Cubs schedule magnet on my beer fridge down here in the basement. My wife's like, what is this? And I'm like, well, if you would print a Cubs schedule, yours would be up here. But I don't want a Brewers schedule on my fridge. She's got my wife's got Packers schedules, magnets, and which reminds me, I need to get one for East Coast Tom. So our neighbor across, his name's Patrick, and Patrick he's like, are you Amy? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, I get your mail. And I'm like, oh, is our mailman sucking? And he meant the postcards, the schedules, and all that. He's like, I got your Packers schedule today. So we're talking, and introduced myself, and we had a great conversation, 20 minutes or so. And he's like, are you in construction also? And I said, no, am I in construction? That's a funny question. You certainly don't know me. Oh, Patrick, I am not in construction. So I said, no, I actually started my own business a few years ago, and I sell sports cards and memorabilia. And he goes, really? He said, oh, that's pretty cool. And he goes, my father-in-law played baseball. And so when I hear that, it's like when I worked in radio and I'm like, yeah, when I would tell people, yeah, I work in radio or I do this, they're like, oh, I worked in radio. Like they had like a half an hour show for a class at the student radio station. Little different. So when I hear people say, oh yeah, I've got a uncle or grandpa or whatever that played baseball, I'm thinking, oh, he played semi-pro or minor league, single A, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, he played he played in the big leagues for like 10 years. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, what's his name? Pete Burnside. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of the name. I'm like, 60s, right? He's like, yeah, he played for the Tigers and the Orioles, and he was on the first San Francisco Giants team. He started with the New York Giants and then was on the first San Francisco team. And he was a expansion pick for the Washington Senators. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And kind of a trivia. And he said he always joked that the Yankees loved playing when he was on the mound because they always hit home runs. And I looked at his home run log last night, and he gave up quite a few home runs to Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. And his home run log's like a who's who: Stan Musial, Harmon Killebrew, Yaz, Mantle, Maris, Colavito. But he gave up 3 of Roger Maris's 61 home runs in 1961. So that's kind of a cool little nugget. And he lived a long life. Unfortunately, Pete Burnside passed away in 2022. Lived a long life. He was 92. But that was pretty cool. So he's like, yeah, we've got a bunch of his cards, and I had him sign a bunch. He's like, hey Pete, I've got these cards. Can you sign them? And so he's like, we're always on the lookout for Pete Burnside stuff. So I'm like, well, and I told him about the Madison Card Show. Next Madison Card Show, Saturday, August 24th, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. We've got 200 tables again. We rented all 4 rooms. Once again, the Capitol Ballroom and Mezzanine upstairs on the second floor. We've got the State Street Ballroom and the Williamson Ballroom on the first floor. And for the second month in a row, the Badger Stateroom, which will be the TCG only room. That doesn't mean there's not TCG throughout the rest of the show, but that room will only be TCG. So that's Saturday, August 24th, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. 200 tables, free admission. So I told him about that, and he's like, oh, well, that sounds cool. I'll have to go check that out. And I'm like, yeah, I've got some vintage dealers that actually Tony, who runs the Oak Creek Card Show, probably has some Pete Burnside in his binders. So I'm gonna go Pete Burnside shopping and do a little neighborly gifting. So if I can find some. So that was kind of a cool little conversation we had last night. Yeah, Ernie was a ball of energy. So we've got this big play pen. It's like an octagon. And so I brought that downstairs, put it in my shipping room. I had a lot of shipping to do. So I put that down in the shipping room, had his bed down there, a bunch of toys. And he was just like crazed in the morning. So, and I took him out like every hour. Finally, after lunch, we played a little bit and he ate lunch. We were going to go for a walk and he only wanted to go like 2 houses. And then he like didn't want to go anymore. So we turned around and he's like zooming back to the house, goes straight to the door. Like, okay, he's pooped. So put him back, and he like slept all afternoon, which was awesome because I was able to get a lot of shipping done yesterday afternoon. So I was more focused, which is crazy to think. This little fur ball that's giving me hell actually kept me pretty focused because I wasn't distracted to go like, oh, I'm tired of shipping, I'm going to go list, because I didn't want to disturb him. I didn't want to get up out of the room and leave, and then all of a sudden he's going to go crazy. So I didn't get these little urges to go sort or do something else. I could focus on the task at hand. And I think that really helped, having him in his playpen next to me. So we'll run it back today, see how things go. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself and he goes crazy. Let's go to the chat. I don't have anything really to talk about today. I did have something I wanted to touch on. Maybe. We'll see. Peter, what's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Hoping to catch Ernie's debut live, not this morning, but maybe this afternoon. I plan on doing shipping this morning. I think my day, and now this can also, like, having to watch Ernie all day long, I think will help me really break up the day in a more efficient manner, where normally it's just like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I don't really have any order to my day. You know, it's like I have a bunch of shipping done, I'm going to do shipping. Like, oh, I'm pretty caught up on shipping, I'm going to do listing. So I think with today, it's like I want to keep on top of shipping, even though I'm caught up in terms of handling time. I still have, you know, and I shipped out, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but I shipped out a freaking tote load of stuff yesterday. But even with that said, I have 160 orders still to ship. So while I'm caught up through, I think I'm probably halfway through what needs to go out by tomorrow, still a lot needs to be shipped out. 160 orders. With that said, I want to break up the day and do shipping this morning. And then once I get that, then we'll break for lunch, go for a walk. If it's not raining, looks like it might rain all day. It's raining right now. It's cold. And then once we come back, I'll be in this room to do some listing or maybe just scanning. And anyway, before I get on to the next subject of scanning, I'll have his playpen down here so I can just go live for a few minutes, just to introduce Ernie to the YouTube world. So I think what I'm going to do instead of scanning and listing, I think I'm just going to scan down here. You can check out my eBay store, 99centcards.com, there at the bottom of your screen. Buy 7 or more cards and regular price, save 25% off at checkout. I did add about 300 singles last night. 75 Topps Baseball, 76 Topps Baseball. So check it out, 99centcards.com. 7 or more at regular price, you'll save 25% off at checkout. I also was categorizing some stuff, so the categories are starting to come to fruition. The new laptop is amazing. I'm glad I sent back that piece of junk that I bought over the last week. I got an HP. I love it. So I got a lot of work done on the couch last night with my laptop. So that's why I think I'm going to scan today instead of scanning and listing. So what I did is, and it took me a few minutes to scan 300 cards. I scanned them in batches, and 3 batches of about 100 cards each. And then I uploaded them to Card Dealer Pro. Now it's super fast, Card Dealer Pro 2.0. If you were using the original version, it was pretty slow. 2.0, super fast. So scanning all that. Now these cards, they're 70 singles, so it's really easy. Most of them identify. I scan them in batches of, okay, these are all 75, these are all 76. So it's super easy. It takes me no time at all to get them, make sure everything's good, upload them to eBay. So I still have a whole box of 70s baseball to list, and I think I'm going to do that here over the next couple days. Just get those in, and then I can focus on some of the other stuff that I bought recently and get that stuff listed. And in the 70s stuff, I sold a whole bunch of the 75s last night and early this morning out of the batches that I listed last night. So I think that's what I'll do is I'll use this afternoon as scanning time and scan 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, how many, depending on how much time I have, get those scanned in. And I can probably scan that box of 2,000 cards in an hour. Get those all uploaded to Card Dealer Pro. And then tonight, and probably over the next couple nights, get those uploaded into my eBay store, 99centcards.com. So links also in the description. So I think that's kind of the plan here this week is just finishing off all the 70s. Super easy to scan, upload, and get listed to eBay. Takes no time at all using Card Dealer Pro in my Rico scanner. So I think that's kind of the plan. Just get through all this 70s stuff. And then as we approach the weekend, I'll have to get more prepared for the Janesville Card Show. I'll be in Janesville Sunday. August 11th is the date. This Sunday, Janesville, Wisconsin, Holiday Inn Banquet Hall. I'll be set up right as you walk in the front door in that hallway before you walk into the big room. I'll have dollar boxes, a bunch of new stuff, great stuff. Gonna find some great stuff in my dollar boxes this weekend, this Sunday in Janesville. I will have limited quarter boxes. It's only going to be dollar boxes and limited quarter boxes. So I will have a soccer quarter box. I will have a hockey quarter box. And then I will have an other sports quarter box, which will be, there's going to be some NASCAR in there. Sorry, Kyle. Some new like Prism NASCAR. There's going to be some UFC, maybe a little bit of wrestling. And then I think I have a non-sport box. So I haven't made up the non-sport box yet, but I think I'll have those 4 quarter boxes this Sunday in Janesville. Let's go back to the chat. Where were we? Lewis is in the house. A goat meme. Good morning to you. JW, good morning. Orlando's in the house. Good morning. Red Light 34 is here. What's happening? David's here. Good morning to you. Duke, what's going on? Good morning. There's Kyle. What's happening? Spam Likely is here. Hello, handsome. Brian, good morning, you beautiful couch people. George, what's happening? We got Mark Marinello in the house. Tracy's here. He says, good morning. Big rain has started. Prediction, 20 inches for our area. Holy moly. That's a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. Get to sit and watch the rain come down for my birthday today. Kind of peaceful. Happy birthday. Tracy celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday. Hopefully it doesn't wash you away. Brian says, yikes, might want to use some junk wax to make a cardboard boat. A little cardboard regatta. Steve Ains, what's going on? Good morning. Oh, last day of summer break, man. We talked a little bit about that on yesterday's show on summer coming to an end. Teachers going back. Kids will be back in school shortly. I've got a friend that he's just a grouch. And he always, every year, posts on Facebook this time of year how sick of back to school photos he is. And it's like, so I commented yesterday, I'm like, I want back to school photos to clog my feed until November 5th or whenever election day is. Get me through election day. If I don't have to see any more opinions on the Republican candidate for president and the Democratic candidate for president, give me back to school photos all day long so I don't have to look at your stupid opinions. Doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, there's stupid opinions. And nobody cares about what you think of one candidate or another. Nobody except you. And you're not going to teach anybody anything. You're not going to convince them, oh, you're right. My Facebook friend said this about this candidate. He's right. I'm not going to vote for them now. I'm going to vote for the other one. Come on. Just shut the fuck up. That's my thoughts on politics. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about your stupid fucking opinion about politics. Fuck. Show pictures of your kids going back to school. Who the fuck cares about your goddamn politics? Fuck. I'd rather you post about your fantasy baseball trade. Nobody fucking cares about your opinions on politics. Politics. Fuck. Get it over with. That's my soapbox for today. Cooter's here. Good morning. Recipe cards, very Midwestern. I will send her Cooter's chili recipe to send out. Oh, yeah, she'd love that. She knows your name, though. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when we had our call, she goes, "How did your call go with your friend?" And I'm like, "Cooter." And she goes, "I'm not calling him Cooter. What's his real name?" Like, it's Tom. She goes, "I'm going to call him Tom. I'm not calling him Cooter." Peeps, what's going on? Good morning. Brian said, "Wow, his uncle played his father-in-law. So his wife's, I did not meet his wife, but his wife's dad played with Willie Mays." Yeah. And they, in fact, I was looking up. So when I got in the house, I'm like curious on his career. And not only did he play with Willie Mays on the Giants, they played together on like a winter league team in the mid 50s. They were teammates on wherever it was, Dominican Republic or Mexico or somewhere in the Caribbean. They were teammates. Philly Joe, the fix was giving up homers. LOL. Card Safari, what's going on? Good morning, ladies and borderline gents. Brian says, had a power outage from 1 to 4. House got hot and kids woke up and got crabby. Uh-oh. That's no good. We did not lose power. No power outage here. So did it storm pretty bad last night? Brian also lives here in Madison. I know that the grass is wet. It's cloudy. It's actually cold. I'm wearing a hoodie and jeans in August. I don't know what the temperature was, but when I went outside, I'm like, oh, whew. It's not humid anymore. It's been pretty humid the last few days. So it might just be, it's 60. It's only 60 degrees right now. That's fucking cold. A lot of F-bombs. F-bomb Tuesday, 60 degrees. Only going to be 73 today. So that's hoodie and jeans weather, which is funny. If it's 73 in March, I'm like in my underwear. No, not really. Nobody wants to see that. I don't even want to see that. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. If it's 60 degrees in March. But now it's like, God dang, it's cold. But it's been pretty hot. It hasn't been hot and humid. It's just been humid. It's been warm and humid. It's been like mid 80s with high humidity, which is totally bearable. I love the humidity. It's when it's like 95 and humid, when you just walk outside and start sweating. That's when it's like, oh, it's a bit much for my liking. Duke says, do you schedule out times or days for just shipping or listing, or is it just whichever stack is getting bigger is what you start working on? I do the stack method. It's basically, I don't schedule out times. And that's why I think yesterday was probably more efficient for me, because I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go list now. Oh, I'm going to go ship now. I'm getting bored with this. I was focused on the task at hand. You know, I have ADD. Look, squirrel. So focusing, and knowing that it's either I have to focus on the task at hand or the dog's going to go absolutely batshit crazy. I choose doing the same thing, and I don't want the dog to go batshit crazy. So now I don't schedule out times. I mean, I roughly, basically what, your follow-up, it's basically, okay, I've got over 200 orders to ship, and a lot of these need to be out, say, tomorrow. Then it's like, okay, today's going to be a heavy shipping day. If I get caught up, I'm a day out, 2 days out. It's like, okay, I've got some wiggle time. I haven't added anything to my store recently, or, within a couple days. So I'm going to focus on some listing today. So that's kind of how I handle things. The stack method. Red Light said, I sent you some more offers on 76 Topps Baseball. Alrighty, I will take a look at those. Fernando's here. Good morning. Brian says, topic idea, finding sealed wax deals. There are none. I just answered your question. There are no sealed wax deals. I started following DA cards and their daily deals. There's some fun finds there. Anyone else doing something like that? There used to be deals to be found from David Adams, Steel City, and Blowout. Not really since COVID. At least I'm not really looking. Every once in a while I'll look and I don't see anything that is going to be too liquid. So, but again, I'm not looking every day. I'm still, in fact, I'm going to log on right now to DealerNet. I haven't bought anything on DealerNet. It used to be a really good deal. But now it's just a waste of money and I'm pissing away money. What the hell is the website called? DealerNet B2B. Oh, it's DealerNet X now. Okay. Oh, good. My password's saved. All right. Now I need to figure out how to, okay, we'll do that later, but I need to figure out how to stop my subscription because I don't think there's even, there's going to be any deal. Let's just take a look at the marketplace. Let's look up baseball here. I'll share my screen. So this is what DealerNet looks like. If you have to have a resale license in your state to be a member. Let's present, which was one of the reasons why I got one. My accountant was like, yeah, you don't need that. And I'm like, well, I can get wholesale deals. And really, I don't use it. I guess I use it for Columbia Hobby to get supplies. That's about it. Anyway, so let's look up Bowman Blasters. So you can get Bowman Blasters on DealerNet for $29.50. So what's the price? So let's just see what prices are on Blowout. And the reason there's not deals anymore is because there's not much margin between Fanatics and dealers. So Bowman Blasters are 35. So there's a savings of about $5 on DealerNet. Let's see. What's another? Let's look up last year's Topps Pro debut. We're on 2024. We need to go 2023. What was I looking at? Topps Pro debut. Okay, Topps Pro debut. I like the jumbo boxes. None for sale. All right. What about hobby boxes? Come on. The funny thing is this website looks outdated and this actually looks super modern compared to their site that they had just a few months ago. Their old site. Topps Pro debut. Hobby. They don't have any hobby boxes either. Jesus. All right. So see, and that's why I'm going to cancel my subscription. They don't have shit on it. And it's not a good price. So that kind of tells me there might be some decent deals out there, but I don't know where to find them. And I'm not big on, unless it's like a super good deal, which you'll find in November during Black Friday sales. Blowout, David Adams, Steel City all have, typically some good Black Friday sales. That's usually the only time I'll buy not new release stuff. Old stuff that I either buy to rip or buy to just put on a shelf. And basically what I have on my shelf is all from Black Friday deals that I still have on my shelf. Duke says, well, heck, my question got answered long before you got to it. Yeah, how many minutes behind are we? 17 minutes behind in the chat. Kyle says, maybe Walter arrives back to you at Janesville. So, yes, Walter will arrive to me in Janesville. So I do know the results of my PSA submission. I wasn't going to do a video, but now I'm going to, based on the results. I'm going to tease you with, I'm extremely happy with one of the results. I am unhappy with another result, and two of the results were at or slightly above what I expected. So basically, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and remember what I assigned, what my personal assignment was to each of the grades. But two of them were right in the wheelhouse, and I was kind of expecting one number grade lower, and they were like right where I expected. So I will do a video this weekend on my reveal, and so stay tuned for that. Brian says, great taste of the Midwest this weekend. Any card collectors that are also big beer fans will not be in Janesville. I guarantee you the great taste of the Midwest will not detract from any traffic at the Janesville card show. I highly doubt anybody. I highly doubt there will be any change in traffic at the card show. Victor, what's going on? Good morning. Dan's in the house. What's happening? Long time no see live. Welcome back. Johnny M is here. On average, what percentage of cards in the large lots you buy would you call unsellable and just dump in the trash? Well, very few that I actually dump in the trash. The Goodwill pallets, there's probably, I would say less than 5%, maybe 5% of the Goodwill pallets go into the trash. And that's because they're not unsellable, but they're trash. Well, they're even unsellable in bulk because they're just beat up and they're junk wax, beat up. In the bulk lots I buy, none go in the trash. At worst, they go into a bulk lot that sells for a fraction of a penny a card. Johnny M says, I always figure 70% of what I buy will go to the garbage. That's not even close. I would say 1% of my purchases go in the trash, and that's strictly from the Goodwill pallets. If I buy a 4-row box, pretty much, I use it like the Native Americans used the buffalo. I use every piece. So if I get a 4-row box of what I'm buying, and I'm also, for the most part, pretty picky on what I buy. Now, the Goodwill pallets, that's a completely different story. But when I'm buying, bulk from somebody, for the most part, everything has a place. I'll cherry pick the Cubs, go into my personal collection. I'll cherry pick for eBay. Okay, these are going on eBay. If it's $1 box, okay, these are going on eBay as $10 cards or $5, whatever the comp is, if I look up comps. And then the rest get put in quarter boxes, which eventually go into dime boxes. And once the dime boxes get retired, then they go into a bulk sale where now they're fractions of a penny a card. So, but nothing goes in the garbage from bulk buys unless it's a Goodwill pallet and they're garbage, junk wax, beat up, then they go in the trash. It's an F-bomb Tuesday, man. How do you know if a politician is lying? Their lips are moving. Amen. Now that's an opinion I'm on board with right there. Kyle says, amen, F-bombs. Well played. Brian says, only thing worse than political talk on hobby pages is the hate on unlicensed products. And it's funny, Fanatics Topps released a basketball product. I think it's just went on sale yesterday. Topps Chrome basketball. And everybody's just hating on it. It's not licensed. 270. It's like 270 for a hobby. You get 2 autographs, I think. It's like, that's the world we live in. That's the market. And it's sold out in like no time. So if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to like it, but that's the market. And you can have an opinion of it sucks because it's too expensive. It's not worth it. But a lot of people thought it was worth it. So it's good business. I saw somebody tweet that it's a money grab for putting Victor Wembanyama on the box. It's called business. No shit, Sherlock. Of course it's a money grab. Scrolling at the bottom of my screen, 99centcards.com. Go buy cards from me. That's a fucking money grab. No shit. If you are selling anything, it's a money grab. Duh. If you put Judd Bushler on the cover, are you going to sell more boxes? No. If you put Victor Wembanyama on the box, are you going to sell more boxes? Probably. Duh. That might have been the dumbest social media post that I saw regarding the Topps Chrome basketball. No shit. Of course it's a money grab. Topps isn't a charity. And even if they were, they'd put Victor fucking Wembanyama on the box. Duh. Tracy says, speaking of, my fantasy baseball team stinks. Dropped into last place after last week. Time to turn to fantasy football. I only have fantasy baseball because I suck. I suck at fantasy football. So I'm going to share very quickly fantasy baseball. Nobody wants to fucking hear about my fantasy baseball, but I'm going to tell you real quickly. I was 12 teams. I'm tied for 9th at the trade, or a couple of weeks ago. Trade deadline was this past week. And I saw all of these teams ahead of me in the standings within a game or two, and they're all selling. And I'm like, well, shit. If they're all selling, I'm going to buy and try to make a run into the playoffs. And I had a decent roster of players. I just need to fill in some holes. It's like, fuck, I'm going to be a buyer. So I did. I traded for some starting pitchers, traded for Dallas Garcia. Who else did I get? I don't know, but I won that initial matchup. It was towards the end. I was making a run. If I would have had a couple more days, I probably would have come back and won that matchup. Next week, I won 10-2 my matchup. This past week, I won 11-1. And then, but now the rest of the schedule before the playoffs, I have to play some of the better teams on the schedule. So I think I have 4. I think this week and 4 more weeks. I think there's 5 weeks, including this week. I think there's 5 weeks left. I've moved up in the last 2 weeks. I've moved up to 7th. 6 teams make the playoffs, so I'm in 7th. And if I can win this matchup, I think I'll leapfrog because the guy I'm playing, I think I'm battling. So I might be able to get into a 6th place. So, but it's a jam, man. It's a jam. So hopefully, because if I piss away, because I pissed away a bunch of draft picks on those trades, then I'm fucked for next year. We'll see. Brian says, Dan is here, ? Dan is here. Card Cutter, what's going on? Loves the passion. Fuck, yeah. It's Tuesday. Tuesdays suck anyway. Mikey's here. Good morning. And it's raining and it's cloud. It's cold. It's just an F-bomb Tuesday. There you go, baby. Jordan, what's up? I'm with Brian. Just tell us. Oh, I think he wants to know what my grades were. No, I can't tell you. It's because I want, see, it's a money grab. So I can get 17 cents from the video that I'm going to put out this weekend. It's a money grab. It's clickbait. I'm going to clickbait you into another video this weekend. Mikey is selling vintage. Yes, Orlando. Check out Mikey's store on eBay. Brian says, not a lot of overlap between hopheads and card collectors. Not really. Now, I'm sure I bet a lot of people in the room are beer drinkers, but and Brian, you know me, I love beer, but I've never been to the Great Taste or whatever it's called. I don't do, I'm just not, I love beer, but I just don't do, I like beer. I love beer. I love beer in the comfort of my own home. I enjoy going out every once in a while and having a beer. But I'm certainly not a hophead. I hate hops. But I'm not going to go out and try the latest new stouts. I don't wait in line for like the newest gimmick that the breweries put out. Like I'm just not, that's not me. And I think that's probably, and I know the clientele and I know my fellow dealers in Janesville, and many of them are the same in Madison. They wouldn't go to it could be across the street and they wouldn't go. Will they have a beer? Absolutely. Will they have several beers? Maybe, but not to go to a beer festival or whatever it's called. Brian says, sold 2 more pieces of card art this weekend. They are moving. Yeah, stuff is selling. How did I reach my daily target yesterday? Barely. Whew. Barely. Got there. I think 2 out of 23 days I've been above my daily target. Some days have been much better. Joe Caprino says, key to fantasy baseball, pick up pitchers pitching against the White Sox. That was my strategy at the beginning of the season, but not for the White Sox. It was against the Oakland A's because who would have thought the White Sox would be this bad? Did they lose again last night? Now it's like even if you're a White Sox fan, you have to root for the White Sox to lose. If you're going to be bad, be the best at it. Like if you're going to do something, go for broke. Be the best at what you do. And the White Sox right now, they're really good at losing. Why not be the best and set these records for being the worst, having the longest losing streak in the game? Kyle says, I'm looking forward to your PSA results. 1 really happy, 1 disappointment, 2 miss. That's about how all my grading is gone. And I was kind of expecting that. I was trying to keep an open mind and not to be let down. But as I've alluded to since I made that submission, even though it's like I think it's going to get this, but if it gets this, I'm going to be a little disappointed. So I would say overall, I'm happy with the results. So I'll share more details this weekend. I will be doing another sub, and I think I'm going to sub my Triple H WWF debut ticket. I was there in person. You can see me wearing my UMass basketball jersey as a punk teenager. Was I a teenager? I was, barely. Hey, no, I was not yet a teenager. I think I was only 12. I had not yet turned 13 because it was in April of 1995. I was still a couple months away from becoming a teenager. At Triple H's debut, WWF Superstars taping, April of 1995. So I have that ticket. It's beat up. It's basically, I just want it slabbed to be authentic. I think it's 0 pop. I don't think there's a single Triple H debut ticket at PSA. So I think I'm going to sub that. The Derek Jeter SP rookie, that was a Goodwill pallet find. I'm going to sub that. I've got 1 Mariano Rivera Bowman. Actually, the Bowman rookie that I have on eBay right now, I may take that down and sub it because I think that's the better copy of the 2 I have. I think it's more centered than the other one because I have one out here. It's like, I'm going to sub this and I'm like, wait, I don't think this is centered as well as the other one I have. The other one happens to be on eBay. So, hey, check it out, 99centcards.com. So I'm going to take a look at both of those and see. I've got some pre-war. I've got an old Judge that I picked up a few weeks ago that I'll send off to SGC. So here I am, slabbing, man. John Larson, what's going on? Bought 1,000 Michael Jordan cards on eBay. 200 of them were unlicensed. I posted them as singles on eBay. eBay will not let me sell them. So the cards that I bought on eBay will not let me sell. There must be something in the title or description when you're listing as singles, because I have Michael Jordan singles unlicensed in my eBay store. Let me just make sure, because sometimes they listings active. Sometimes they because they take 24 hours. Sometimes Michael Jordan cards take 24 hours to populate on eBay, but sometimes my Michael Jordan lots, and maybe this is why my Michael Jordan lots. How Come on, I want to see my active listings. And this could be why, because when I list Michael Jordan lots, they go up immediately. When I list singles, most of the time it takes 24 hours. They go through a review. So that possibly could be why they slipped through on a lot. Let me see if my unlicensed Michael Jordan cards made it. You know what? I don't think any of my Jordan unlicensed cards. Or did I list? Now I've got to go see my inventory to see what I listed, because I may not have listed the Broders, basically. So I'm going to check that out, but that's good to know. So the cards I bought on eBay will not let me sell them on their platform. That is messed up. That is. But I'm betting, and now I'm going to have to go see if my unlicensed stuff. You know what? Let's just do. I'll be right back. We'll do a little experiment. Okay, now that I went through my Michael Jordan box, I don't think I did list any of the Broders. So this is, here's a cool one. Superman, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in this single bound. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Michael Jordan. So let's just list this, and we'll see our little experiment. I'm just going to list it from my phone here. I don't know. I don't even know what year this is. Michael Jordan, Superman, basketball card, Chicago Bulls, Broder. And we'll put 1990s. All right. So let's see if it lets me. So my question is, did you know, John, did you know right away? And I guess, do you know if they, and I've got multiple questions, so let's just try this. Did you list the other singles, and did they get posted? Or did you get like a message right away saying, hey, this is not kosher? We're just going to do AI description. Some people hate AI description. Some people love it. I love it. I know you got to check it over. Boom. Looks good to me. We'll price this at $5. And I'm sure there's Michael Jordan Broder cards on eBay as singles. So that's why I'm curious if it's something in the description or title that flagged eBay. All right, so I'm going to list. Come on. Come on. All right. It says my listing is live, but I'll believe it when I see it. Let's just type in Michael Jordan Broder. Oh yeah, there's certainly. Oh yeah, 1990 Broder, Michael Jordan, red border, double trouble, Broder, the Michael Jordan Bo Jackson. I have sold that card before. Air Bart, Air Jordan Broder card. Oh, there's a whole bunch. There's a reprint, Fleer basketball. Looks terrible. Wow, this Superman Michael Jordan card's $12.75. Now I want to, let's see. Let's type in. Hopefully I didn't underprice it at $5. See, I don't comp. No, $10, $12.75, $9. All right, maybe I should relist it for 10. Let's look up sold. Those are just listing prices. 5, 14, 3, 9, 7, 5, 4, $5 is. We'll leave it at $5. So that card has sold multiple times. So I just take a look and see what your description and listing title says. Just make sure unlicensed is not anywhere in the title or description. Put Broder. That's a good descriptor. Jordan says, I Zelle you, Cash App, Venmo you $1.17 for the information. Mikey says, definitely check out my store. I have a 5-row box of nothing but 1970s vintage I'm going to list. Very nice. Card Safari says, anyone else drink Red Dog back in the day? Red Dog. I remember I did not drink Red Dog back in the day. Red Dog was kind of right before my time as a drinker, and my time as a drinker may have begun a few years before I turned 21. But I remember a couple of my older friends, and actually around the time that I was probably drank Red Dog. I had a friend who drank, Ice House was another one. Like, I didn't drink any of that. I drank, and I like stick my nose up at Ice House and Red Dog as I was drinking Busch Light and Old Milwaukee Light. Victor, good morning. Late start. Hey, we're late. I'm late. You're late. We're all late. Brian says, I haven't seen Red Dog in a while. That might be regional or discontinued. Oh, I'm going to leave that window up. Red Dog. I don't think they make it. I have never seen it. Red Dog beer. Because I know for sure it was sold in the Midwest. Produced by Miller Brewing Company. Interesting. Let's see. Red Dog beer is a beer produced by Miller Brewing Company as part of their Plank Road Brewery family. The beer contains 4.8% alcohol by volume. It was introduced in 1994. Let's see. The Plank Road name was resurrected in the 90s to sell Ice House and Red Dog as a more premium beer under a different name so as not to directly associate them with Miller Brewing. Tommy Lee Jones was in their commercials. Looks like you can still buy Red Dog. Beer Advocate Community. Is Red Dog still around? Oh, this was from 2013. Huh. Now when I go to next time I go to Total Wine, I'll check it because Total Wine has everything. John says they didn't flag them until they had been posted for several months. Oh, that's interesting. I have about 50 of those Superman cards. I sold 20 of them before they flagged it. Interesting. Brian says, I get my card art pulled sometimes. eBay says they are counterfeit. Zach says, comps on Broder cards are all over the place. I know from experience. I know Zach's been a customer of some Broder cards. Yeah, some... Like usually Bo Jackson and Michael Jordan Broders, like people say they're worthless. They're not. Like a lot of them sell for $5 to $10. Some of them are a couple bucks, but there's good value in it because there's not many around. There's not many for sale on eBay. Not as many in comparison to other 1990s stuff. Brian says it is still being made. Mickey grenades were the bomb. I never did Mickey's. I stuck to Old Milwaukee Light and Busch Light. If it was payday, it'd be Bud Light or Coors Light. If I remember correctly, the Red Dog logo had some controversy. I believe Miller Red took over the Red Dog. Just had a grenade last weekend. Love the puzzles. Card Safari said, used to get Red Dog 30s for $9 in the mid-2000s. Let us broke college kids make plenty of questionable decisions. Yeah, Red Dog just wasn't. I had one friend who drank Red Dog, and I think it was only because of the dog. Like he didn't, I don't think he really cared about the beer. He just liked the logo. But I don't think any of my friends, especially when we were in college, it was Natty Light was when I was in college at Western at WIU. Natty Light was huge. At one point in time, Macomb, Illinois was the largest seller of Natty Light. Let's see. Lewis says, aren't Michael Jordan cards infamous for counterfeiting? Certainly the rookie card. High value ones, yes. A 1990 NBA hoops, no. Broder cards, no. But the rookie, certainly. probably the most counterfeited card of all cards. Brian says, I remember that as a kid. Red Dog beer signs were the coolest. Yeah, they had the bulldog. Here's a here. Oh, are you at least 21? I am. You can even buy it online. Let's see. Here you go. Red Dog. And that's pretty much what it looked like back in the 90s, early 2000s. Bold beer, uncommonly smooth beer, full flavored lager with medium body. I bet it tastes like shit. Like, I bet if you haven't had one in 20 years, 10 years, and you had a Red Dog, you'd be like, tastes like shit. Let's see. Brian says, once eBay pulls something for being called counterfeit, I don't think they will let you relist it. I've tried when my cards got pulled with a different title. Interesting. Brian says, all this beer talk is making me thirsty. Me too. I need my mushroom coffee. I had, I've been drinking a lot of just my health kick. I've cut back on beer. And when I do drink, I typically drink Michelob Ultra, and which is like water basically. And we went to Riley Tavern on Saturday night and had a couple spotted cows. And man, after you're drinking Michelob Ultra for a couple months and you go back to a spotted cow, oh my God, it's like candy. But you have to refrain. You have to be good. I hit my scale 200 for the first time this morning, which is crazy because I had pizza and ice cream and beer on Saturday. But I did do well yesterday. I did do well in my diet yesterday, but haven't hit 200 on the scale in 8 years. What year is it? 2024. What's 16? Yeah, probably since about 2016 was the last time I've. My goal is to get under 200. I'd like to hit 190. I don't know. It's more about how I feel, and I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling good. It's not really about the number, but you know, if I could stand to lose a few more pounds. There's some shirts that I still want to fit into a little bit better. But 200.4 was my weight this morning. So that's a new low for this year. Haven't been this light since about 2016 probably. Where we at? Zach says Red Dog and Ice House and beers, if it's liking, had one purpose and it wasn't great taste. Right. It was cheap. Get you messed up faster and get you fatter at a similar rate. That's right. It's all about the binge drinking at a low price. Max says we drank Bud Light and others drank that Miller Lite piss. Miller Lite is piss. Like I like light beers. Like that's just, I mean, I drink all types of beers except for IPAs. I think they taste like piss, but Bud Light, Coors Light, but Miller Lite is not. Like if you're holding my head underwater and threatening me with my life, saying you have to drink this or you die, I would drink Miller Lite. But otherwise, no. I would probably drink my own piss before I drink Miller Lite. But I like Bud Light, Coors Light. Those would be my light beer choices. Red Dog, Ice House, Mickey's, Killian's Irish. We actually in college, we ordered a Killian's Irish Red keg, and it was the worst decision. And I made a lot of poor decisions in my early 20s, and that was among the worst. Ordering a keg of Killian's Irish Red. That was a terrible decision, both monetarily and for my friend's health. Terrible decision. St. Ides Special Brews. A lot of partial memories coming back from those college days. Brian says, been drinking more High Life lately. I forgot how good that beer is. I don't know if I've ever had a Miller High Life. So going back to High Life, if I hate Miller Lite, does Miller High Life taste anything like Miller Lite? Because if it tastes anything like Miller Lite, I'm Not going to like it. Zach says, one meal isn't going to impact your weight loss journey just like one skipped meal. That's a good point. That's a good point. It certainly was. I don't believe in cheat days, but Saturday was certainly a cheat day with pizza, beer, and ice cream. The trifecta of shit food. It was also good. Brian says, Killian's. I love that beer. I thought I was so unique for drinking that in college. Don't forget Rolling Rock and MGD. Oh, Rolling Rock. Oh, that was terrible too. I might like Rolling Rock today. But I remember we were doing something we shouldn't have been doing. We were booze cruising, which was a rite of passage as a youth in rural Midwest, doing a little booze cruising, and somebody brought roll. It was like the last of the. It was basically we were probably not yet 21, which is also kids don't do this at home. I don't think anybody under the age of 21 is watching this anyway. So if you have kids in the room, earmuffs. But this was probably, 18, 19 years old. It's hard to get beer. And so we would just like raid, like, what can you get? Like I got, it's basically just a potpourri of different beers. And like Rolling Rock was the last one left. We drank the Miller High Life and Coors Light or whatever, beer like that was okay. And then it came down to Rolling Rock. And I remember, and I nursed that thing like, oh, this is not good. Because I didn't have a palate yet for beer. Today, I could probably handle drinking a Rolling Rock. But when I'm 18, 19, you're developing that beer palate. No dice. Where are we at? Brian says double IPAs are better than regular IPAs for non-hop heads. Well, that's interesting. There is one IPA that I tolerate. I think it's from Bell's Brewery in Michigan. And it's pretty light on the hops, but I think it's still an IPA. Max says, I wouldn't drink Miller Lite if someone handed me one for free. Same. If it's the only thing available, I might ask for water. Brian says, sounds like it's time for Piffs versus Miller Lite challenge. Yes. Max treats Miller Lite like Bo takes LRS's advice. High Life is so much better than Light. It better be. It better be. Max says, I don't know if Miller makes a decent beer. Not missing anything with High Life. Okay. I'll take Max's word for it. Porter, good morning. Setting up at my first show next month. I'm going to sell supplies in order to fill out my table. Not sure how to price top loaders, penny sleeves, card savers. Any advice? Yes. Take into account what you have into them, but also market price. Depending on, I don't know what your price is, but here's how I price. My card saver ones they're the wider ones. I always forget. Card saver ones, the wider card savers. I sell the box of 200 for $20. And that gives me a little bit of room. Not much margin. There's like no margin in supplies unless you jack the price up. Penny sleeves, $1 a pack. Make them penny sleeves. I get my penny sleeves in bulk for 50 cents, 55 cents, somewhere around there. So again, you're making, a little bit, but I have so much. I buy in bulk. I don't take supplies to every show because usually there's other dealers that, have a lot of supplies. So it's like, there's no need. If there's a need for supplies or if I needed to fill out room on my table, yeah, I'd take some. Top loaders. What am I pricing top load? I think $3 for a pack of 25 is what I price. And if somebody wants to buy a whole bunch, I do $2.50 a pack. But again, there's little margin in that as well. So that's how I price stuff. Take into account what you've got into it along with market rate and realize you're not going to be, making much margin on those, which I guess by percentage, if you sell a penny sleeve pack for $1, you got 50 cents into it. Percentage wise, that's a great margin. But from a dollar and cent standpoint, you're making 50 cents a pack. Let's see. Brian says just blaspheming early today is Max. That's what Max does. But I'm gonna take his word on. We agree on Miller Lite sucking, so I'm gonna take his word on the High Life. That dude from Duryea. I always order a case of the High Life champagne bottles around Christmas. There you go. Maybe you're on Christmas time. If I had a champagne bottle, maybe I would try it. But on a warm summer day, I'm not going to experiment with the High Life. Brian says 30 packs of LaCrosse beer was our budget beer at Iowa. I've never heard of that. LaCrosse beer. I'm trying to think of what Natty Light would have been. At Western, it was certainly Natty Light. Some drank the Beast, Old Milwaukee's Best. Those were our budget beers. Beat Off, name one. Dippa is the best. High Life is the champagne of beers for a reason. Porter says Bell's Too Hard. That must be it. John says the original Schlitz beer could very well be the best beer ever made. I'm serious. I don't think they make it anymore, though. So I don't know if they make like the original recipe Schlitz. They still make Schlitz. Total Wine they have Schlitz. They have, and I'm forgetting all of the other old beers, but there's a bunch of them that are, but I think they were resurrected. And I don't think they're the original recipe of the beers. I think they just basically bought the rights to the name Schlitz and whatever other names there were. So Mikey hates beer. It's disgusting, he says. Zach says John Larson is correct. They came out with the original formula again about 20 years ago. Couldn't keep it in stock. Kudos to John's comment. Well, so if it is, and Brian says Schlitz is back with the original recipe, well, maybe I'll have to try some Schlitz. That dude says Rolling Rock is best in pony bottles, iced down cold. We had case races with those for part of Beer Olympics. That sounds fun. Zach says haven't drank in decades, but High Life was not bad. However, I didn't drink alcohol for taste. It wasted. I have 2 speeds in life. There you go. Brian says LaCrosse beer, made in LaCrosse. Beer is still made and is still terrible. Max says champagne tastes like shit, so makes sense. Champagne does taste like shit. Does anybody like champagne? Like, really? Who's going out and buying, like, I'm going to have champagne with dinner tonight? Nobody. It's a shitty centerpiece at a wedding reception. Cheers. And I always cheers with a beer because I'm not drinking that shitty ass champagne. And shitty champagne is even worse than Miller Lite. You get that cheap champagne. It's like, oh my God, what is this? I'd rather drink the water out of my pond than drink cheap champagne. And between Miller Lite and champagne, it's like, what if you're at a wedding? And your only options are champagne, the shitty champagne that's on the table, or Miller Lite. I'm going to run across the street to Walgreens and go buy a case of something. Brian says Schlitz, Blatz, Hams. Hams was the other one I was thinking of. Yes, Blatz is another good one. PB Army ASAP. That's kind of a hipster beer now. Old Style. Old Style's always been around, hasn't it? We had this, I think I had this discussion with Max and Max's dad at one of the recent Madison card shows. We were talking about Old Style. Old Style is the official beer of the Chicago Cubs, and has been for several years, I think. At least like 10 years, maybe longer. Zach says only drink it in a bottle, though, for Schlitz. Okay. Schlitz in a bottle. Zach says champagne is more about the image than the taste, like making Starbucks your favorite coffee, and who would do that? Oh, shots fired. Starbucks also tastes. I'd rather drink Starbucks than Miller Lite. Cheap champagne is terrible. Good champagne is tolerable. I think that's a fair assessment. Max says now if you get decent champagne, fine. Old Style is made in La Crosse now, isn't? I think so. I think it was it originally made in La Crosse and then it was brewed elsewhere? I think I looked this up. Let's Google this. Old Style beer. I think they started brewing it again in La Crosse. Old Style beer. G. Heilman Brewing Company. Let's see. All right. Wikipedia. I thought I saw it on Wikipedia. Old Style. Old Style is a Old Style lager. This is from thebeerly.com. Old Style is a Chicago staple, but is actually native to Wisconsin, where it was first brewed by the G. Heilman Brewing Company in 1902. It's an American adjunct lager, like many of its commercial competitors. Old Style is known for its krausening, or double fermentation process that is typical of bottle fermented beers. Old Style claims this krausening gives their lager extra carbonation and complex richness, as well as makes it doubly aromatic and singularly intricate in taste. A lot of big words there. Unfortunately, the brewers of Old Style should have just left it at think local, drink local, their most recent mantra, because this beer is anything but intricate, aromatic, and complex. Friends, this is simply beer. It pours from a cheap 20-ounce can into my beer mug. It is highly carbonated and therefore boasts an enormous head if you want it to. But this head fades within a minute or so, leaves almost no lacing at all. It barely embodies the yellow hue of a light lager and is crystal clear. It smells faintly. And by faintly, I mean I'm so used to smelling beers that actually have an aroma that I can't be sure my brain didn't just fabricate the faint malt aroma all of its own. The taste is forgettable. It's so narrowly a beer that it's really hard to even describe the taste, but there is something about Old Style, and again, the experience of drinking factors largely here. Old Style ain't everywhere, but everywhere has its own form of Old Style. There you go. It gets a grade D from thebeerly.com. So, all right. Didn't answer any of the questions I had about Old Style, but there you go. Sounds like a shitty beer. And I don't like Old Style. I like the hat, but I don't like the beer. If I'm at Wrigley, I'll drink an Old Style. That's about it. I'm certainly not going out to the liquor store and buying Old Style. Brian says, Old Style was the #1 beer in Chicago, but made in Wisconsin. Max says, I have coffee twice a month, but yes, if that's a shot at me, Zach, so be it. Dunkin' is for the poor. McDick's has the best value coffee. If I opt for coffee on the road, I'm a poor and I'm hitting Dunkin', baby. Dunkin' is so much better. Dunkin' is so much better. McDonald's is also terrible. I would probably, best value in my opinion is Dunkin' because it's good and it's cheap. McDonald's is cheap. Starbucks is expensive. Starbucks is better than McDonald's, but it's like 5 times the price. So for my value, Dunkin' is right there in the middle. Is Dunkin' a great coffee? No. Is it a great price? Yes. Is it a middle of the road coffee? Yes. McDonald's, terrible coffee, cheap price. Starbucks, expensive and average. Zach says, I can't disagree with Max as I enjoy both Dunkin' and McDonald's, but put Karuba high on the list. Mikey says, margaritas all the way. Only alcohol I can stand when I drink rarely. Mikey loves Starbucks, white hot chocolate. The only good thing that came from my ex since she cheated on me, but did introduce me to white hot chocolate at Starbucks. Mikey, say it ain't so. You no longer have a girlfriend. What the hell's going on? What a hoe. Search and rescue cards. Chick-fil-A has the worst coffee. I've never had Chick-fil-A coffee. And now I don't want to. Brian says it's a terrible donut. Dunkin' isn't really that cheap. $3 for a large black coffee. That's like 3 times. Like McDonald's is what, $1.50 for a large? Maybe $2. Orlando says Dunkin' coffee is my favorite. Price versus taste. Absolutely. Duncan is my go-to. Brian says, my Adley Rushman home run challenge card is on the way. I wonder what it will sell for. Max says, Duncan and Starbucks are pretty close in price. Got to pay for that rebrand somehow. So Starbucks is now for the poor. Mikey says, I do have a girlfriend. I meant the hoe before her that went to Purdue. Well, that hoe. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. The old hoe. All righty. That's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. Newly added 370 singles. Hey, let's check out how my auctions are doing before we go. I will go live most likely this afternoon. Just a quick video to show you Ernie, the new puppy. So at some point after lunch later today, I'll pop on and do live. I don't know what time. Remember, I'm on puppy time. So 66 of 74 auctions have bids. Let's see where we at. We want to stop that one. So let's just check out what I have. So here's, this is only going to bring up the ones with bids, but here, this most of them. So let's, here you go. So these auctions end next Tuesday night. So a week from tonight, these auctions are ending. We've got 1997 Stadium Club Triumvirate Refractor Die Cut Emmitt Smith. This is about a $50 to $75 card. I think I had it listed in my store for $100, and didn't have any decent offers. So we're going to roll it at auction. It's probably, since it's an auction, it's probably going to go for far less than the comps. It's currently at $850. We've got a Goose Gossage Topps Finest autograph. Current bid $550. All of these are free shipping, by the way. That was my mistake. I was supposed to put shipping on, but I fucked it up. So my fuck up is your win. 2022 Pro Debut Orange Auto, Leover Peguero of the Pirates, numbered out of 25. That's a $550 current bid. Joey Bart Definitive Rookie Auto, numbered out of 50. He's now with the Pirates. Hit a home run the other night. Current bid $550 on that one. Travis Kelce Starlight Materials, numbered out of 150. That's currently at $5. Nice red patch on that. How about this? A 71-72 Topps Lou Alcindor Milwaukee Bucks basketball card. Current bid, it's got some paper loss at the top. Current bid $425. Gold Mirror SSP Ryan McMahon of the Rockies. Current bid $358. I've got autos. There's a Bowman Chrome Auto from the Brewers. Jadher Aranimo. Butchered that name. Francisco Mejia Chrome Relic Auto, numbered out of 50. Shed Long. Relic Auto, numbered out of 50. Albert Abreu Finest Gold Refractor Auto. Davey Garcia, Yankees prospect. I think he's with a big league team or was. That's numbered out of 15, 1-5. Warming Bernabel of the Rangers, Gold Auto to 50. Gabriel Arias, Heritage Miners Gold out of 50, or out of 18, I should say, out of 18. Cutter Coffee, Pro Debut Chrome Gold Refractor, numbered out of 50. Dylan Beavers, Elite Extra Edition Auto out of 24. White Sox, Jared Kelly, Pro Debut Orange Auto, numbered out of 25, bidding only at $2.26 on that. And a whole bunch more. Julio Rodriguez Purple, Bowman, numbered out of 250. Sterling Strider Speckle Refractor. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Topps Chrome Short Print. Brian Hayes First Bowman Blue, numbered out of 150. Some good stuff. So check it out, 99centcards.com. Those auctions still have a week. They end a week from tonight, next Tuesday. Last couple of chats. Max says Dunkin' and Starbucks are pretty close in price. We talked about that. Mikey has a new girlfriend. Max says explains a lot. Good old Perdon't. Almost as bad as Ohio State or Minnesota. Search and Rescue says, I didn't know there were terrible donuts. Brian says there are at Dunkin', in my humble, obese opinion. Duke says Chick-fil-A is my go-to coffee. I'd order a large every morning before 2020. Now they only sell it in a small, and that sucks. Oh, bummer. Alrighty, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. We'll go live again shortly, not shortly, but for a short period of time this afternoon. introducing the new puppy. His name is Ernie, after Cubs Hall of Famer, Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll do this again, 7:30 a.m.-ish. Aiming for 7 a.m. again, but we're on puppy time, so it might be 7:30. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.